Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak that's set to release on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC on June 30th. And today we're going to be checking out another one of those interesting weapon tutorial videos that Capcom keeps dropping long after the game has officially released. But more interestingly enough, I think they're more tailored for bringing in a new audience, not just the PC players who are still starting to pick up the game. We're starting to see sales continue as the price continually drops on PC, but also a brand new wave of players are going to be jumping into the game as Sunbreak is set to release. And as you might be seeing on the video right now, the weapon tutorial that we have today is for the most hyper weapon in the game, which is of course is the bow. The bow has been relatively considered one of the most broken weapons in the game, and in a good way, only because you can kind of just master abuse it and get a whole heck of a lot of massive damage to it, with the drawback essentially that you kind of have to like break the game in the way you typically would be playing the weapon. Now it all starts as you kind of see a hunter fighting a Ragi, if you will. They're kind of just doing very basic shots and explaining how it is that you combine shots from the first, second, and third shots, and you kind of want to shoot them back to back, as you are going to get more beneficial damage as you shoot multiple arrows, the more shots you kind of string together. They then transition quickly to the targeting practice area, and they showcase, interestingly enough, a section of the options, which is all in Japanese. Sadly, these tutorials are not in English. I wish they would put them on in English. Hopefully in the future, at the very least, for the release of Sunbreak, they choose to put these in English so people can have a better understanding officially as to how they work. But they do showcase that there is a specific section in the options that is specifically tailored for ranged weapons, and they highlight that rather clearly, so people can actually kind of tinker and mess around with the range options targeting, so you have a better understanding as how to tackle the weapon specifically when it comes to ranged attacks. This is good for both the bow, light bow gun, and heavy bow gun. They all benefit the same, so you definitely should check it out if you haven't done so already. They then transition over to the coverings for the weapon, whether it's poison, fire, elemental boost, stuff like that. So you know, you definitely have that same benefit as well as shots, but of course you have that in arrows when it comes to the bow as well. Another thing that they did showcase very clearly is distance and like targeting when it comes to like pivotal range distance that you want to have. This is one of the things that when they showcased it in the light bow gun trailer tutorial video that I went over a couple of weeks ago, I found that to be very pivotal, because I don't think people understand perfect distance rather well, and like the way that the map, the kind of like the colors change and how the screen flickers and like shakes based off of you having perfect distance. The more perfect distance, that means the maximum amount of damage you're going to do. So it's always good that they change. Not only that the reticle will change color, you will have an effect whenever you hit a monster, specifically to show you critical distance, and more importantly, the screen shake and the damage will go up. So you definitely have a better understanding that you're doing it right and you're maximizing every single one of your shots. This is one of those more key pivotal things that people, when it comes to ranged weapon users, do not necessarily know and or understand all that well. Lastly, they transition over to the charged shots, and this is kind of like where the entire thing becomes a little bit broken. They do not showcase it here all that extremely well. They kind of don't want to, but ultimately you do have the understanding of like you charge a shot, you let go, you instantly recharge again, let go again, you dash, let another shot out, and then you're kind of like multiplying that charge shot benefit for multiple shots, and that's kind of how it ultimately works. They show it here with the dashing, which is basically the typical way you would be able to play. You charge it, you dash out of the way, you're still remaining with your charge shot, and then you let it go as you're repositioning, where people kind of abuse that as they're kind of dash rolling essentially whenever they let off a charge shot. And that is the benefit of playing the bow if you are going to try to play the broken way, which is obviously the way that anyone should be playing, as you're going to be doing maximized damage each and every single time. There was a lot of controversy when the game originally came out, Monster Hunter Rise that is, that they were going to eventually fix this. They never did. Presumably Capcom doesn't think it's broken, or just simply didn't want to fix it. So we'll just have to wait and see if for Sunbreak they do address it. Do remember that before Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak launches on June 30th, Capcom did confirm that there will be a weapon balance coming into the game, meaning not just for Monster Hunter Rise, but also Sunbreak as well. So both games are going to get, oh, well, the same game, but the expansion also is going to get that same weapon balance set. What does that ultimately mean, and what changes are we going to be seeing? We don't know just yet. They haven't really been open about any of that, but presumably if they don't change it by then, if they don't address the dash charging situation with the bow, then they're never going to address it anyways, and it's just going to continue to be the way it is. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. I always find these tutorials interesting only because the game has been out so long and they're finally choosing to address it, but you know, better late than never. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.